I think this is meat and potato stuff in 5 weeks. It's 5 weeks from today, isn't it?
Big and a big. Big and a big.
I think it's
first two are big and big. Then if you want to go get the French pastries, feel free to go ahead and do it.
Let's just stick with that analogy of this is meat and potatoes kind of stuff. That's what you have to be thinking if you're the Bears. I think the luxury picks are out the window here. I think receiver would be completely crazy. I mean, you'd have to have your head examined if you're drafting a wide receiver at 10. Yep. I was reading this in the Tribune. I want to read this to you, this back and forth.
Tribune.
This is with Dan Wiederer and Sean Hammond. They're talking Bears. They were just kind of like doing a back and forth with one another about the offseason. About the draft, though, this caught my attention. I want to read this part to you. I want to get your take. All right, this is from Sean Hammond. He writes, this feels like as good a time as ever to remind Bears fans what Poles keeps repeating this spring. You can't have enough talent in the trenches. He all but promised there would be competition for Braxton Jones at left tackle. That hasn't materialized yet, but it definitely could via the draft. The Bears also added 2 pieces to their D-line with the additions of free agents Grady Jarrett and Dio Odengbo, but it doesn't feel like they're done there either. This draft is considered to be deep at edge rusher. That's another spot the Bears could be zeroing in on. So while it might be fun to talk about running back Ashton Genty or tight end Tyler Warren at number 10, let's remind ourselves this is a meat and potatoes draft. The Bears might be wise to avoid any zesty side dishes in the first round. I like some of the metaphors and some of the simile he uses in there. And I totally agree with that. I think it's a lot of what we've been saying. Wiederer commented back this way. In most years, I'm a devoted subscriber to what you just laid out. Get the meat and potatoes before the zesty side dishes. But, ... I'll also lob this into the conversation. The number 10 pick does not have to be assessed as an exclusive entity. It should be viewed as the first piece of a draft class that likely will net the Bears 6 to 9 players. And with those with 4 selections in the top 72, if the Bears feel they can tap into the quality and depth of this draft in rounds 2 and 3 in a way that gives them the wherewithal to make a so-called luxury pick at number 10, I'm totally aboard. As long as they deem that player at 10 to be an absolute sure thing, be it Genty or Warren or tight end Colson Loveland or even wide receiver, even a wide receiver like Ohio State's Emeka Egbuka.
Oh, boy.
To which I responded when I read that this morning the exact same way you responded. Oh, boy. Now, Wiederer's doing his job. He's throwing some stuff out there. If the Bears call Emeka Egbuka at 10, I would be beyond floored.
Yeah.
You just drafted Rome Odunze at 9 last year.
Exactly.
And I like Rome Odunze a whole heck of a lot. I was all on board with that. I was championing that. I love it. I love it. But if you draft Emeka Egbuka at 10, something's wrong.
I'm wondering if he morphed into Matt Millen overnight. Remember Millen when he kept drafting receiver after receiver after receiver?
Yeah.
You know, and being a big man, you would say, hey, what are you doing and what are you thinking? Carlos Rogers was one of those guys. They had a kid out of USC that was one of those guys. Now,
Mike Williams.
Yeah, Mike Williams. Calvin Johnson might have been one of those guys, too.
But at least Calvin was a good one. I mean,
they might have hit on Calvin Johnson.
They definitely hit on Calvin Johnson.
But you don't just keep going over and over and over in the first round.
Millen might not have even been. He maybe did draft Johnson. I don't know. I don't remember the timeline. But continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the point is that
you can't draft a wide receiver.
The initial soliloquy, and I get it, everybody doesn't need to be on the same page all the time. Tyler Warren, what?
Well, even that, there's no way you could draft a wide receiver if you're the Chicago Bears.
Well, no,
that's where the whole, you draft best player. That's
I'm
nonsense.
talking tight ends and the culmination of 6 and 9. Now, listen, usually you can find players throughout the draft. I don't trust Ryan Poles finding players throughout the draft. So the early picks, the 4 that take place before number 72, them are the important ones. Because you think I trust him in the 6th or the 7th round? No way. No way does he have the ability to find anybody there. And that's why he bails out on him all the time. He doesn't believe there's somebody there.
I'm trying to think, has there been one that we can look back at so far and say, they've done okay with? Like that late? I don't know. I feel like you're probably
the only guy might be Braxton Jones.
I was going to say Braxton. He was a 5th rounder.
Yeah, that's the only one. And now you're looking to get competition in for him anyway because it's first of all, it's good.
Yeah.
It's great to have your feet to the fire. It's great to be motivated. Nothing's wrong with that. Gordon and Brisker were second and third round picks, right?
Yep.
So, but once he gets to the 6th and 7th, what's he been able to do? He hasn't been able to find a guy.
Doug Kramer, they found. I mean, he's a backup though. That's all. They just paid Doug Kramer, by the way. Don't give him the football on the goal line with his taped hands.
Kramer time.
Don't.
Kramer
please.
time. Remember that?
I'll give him credit. Elijah Hicks. I feel like as a safety is someone that they've liked and they value a little bit. He was a 7th rounder.
Okay. What else you got there?
Yeah, that's it. And there were no 6th or 7th rounders last year. Travis Bell and Kendall Williamson in 23.
So
no and no. I would say, so it's not.
So for every
not a who's who yet.
Hicks you give me or Braxton Jones you give me, he's missed earlier in that draft.
Well, that's for darn sure.
Yeah, he's missed earlier, and then you get 2nd round draft choice for Claypool. So that's a strike against him, right?
Yeah.
The 4th rounder that he gave up for Bates. Did he give it up for Bates?
It was a 5th rounder for Bates, wasn't it?
And something else for somebody else, right? What they get? Was Shelton a
Shelton was a free agent.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought he might have been But either way, he's shown you that he doesn't like having his draft choices because I don't think he has confidence in what he's doing in the draft the later he gets into the draft.
I think this is meat and potato stuff in 5 weeks. It's 5 weeks from today, isn't it?
Big and a big. Big and a big.
I think it's
first 2 are big and big. Then if you want to go get the French pastries, feel free to go ahead and do it.
Let's just stick with that analogy of this is a meat and potatoes kind of stuff. That's what you have to be thinking if you're the Bears. I think the luxury picks are out the window here. I think receiver would be completely crazy. I mean, you'd have to have your head examined if you're drafting a wide receiver at 10.
Right.
And that's where the whole, you got to draft the best player. No, you don't. I can't. I'm sorry. I mean, if your grade tells you that Abuka's the best player or T-Mac's the best player and he's there, come on, man, get real. Get real. You're going to draft a wide receiver at 10 a year after grabbing Roma Dunze at 9, or a year after paying DJ Moore.
Or a tight end. Or a tight end.
Even that.
It screams pass rusher. That's what it does.
Screams pass rusher.
It screams draft me a pass rusher.
It absolutely, positively screams pass rusher.
On the offensive line, we also haven't talked about the kid from Yale.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's his red shirt last
year was a red shirt year.
They threw him in there. Because they had to. Braxton Jones came down with a headache of some sort. Maybe he's cramping. I don't know what was happening. More fluids. I would say more fluids. Maybe some Celtic salt might help you out there.
Yeah.
But either way, before the game, he's not available. They went to the kid. What's the kid going to say?
That was the Minnesota game, right?
No, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
What, you're asking me to play? Hell yeah, I'm going to play. Yeah. He went out there. He was ill-prepared.
Yeah.
Why? Because he didn't have a training camp.
Yeah.
He didn't have the conditioning. He didn't have the muscular conditioning that goes through when you're in camp. Your body gets sore. It gets hardened. And that's what you need to be able to play an NFL season. He didn't have none of that. That kid's there. He's available. He's going to be more healthy. He's going to have an off season, which is what we ask of all our guys. Gervin Dexter was a better player in his second year than he was in his first year. Why? He was in an NFL locker room. He was in a weight room. He was in the training room. He was getting better fitness. That's what I expect to see with this kid. Come out. I want him to be in the competition for something on the offensive line.
I wonder what that'll look like this summer.
Be able to compete.
Yeah, I do. I seriously do.
My ideal situation is the pass rusher at 10 if you don't go back. I want at 39. 39, I want an offensive tackle.
Okay.
At 41, if you want to go running back, I'll let you go running back because you don't have one right now.
Well, they have some, but you might not have them.
Raj Khan's concussions, he's a done player. It doesn't matter. It's over for Roshan.
Well, that may be a little bit of a stretch so
It's
far.
not a little bit of a stretch. The way his running style is, when he lowers his head, he's susceptible to concussions. It's an
unsustainable
way not unsustainable.
What is it?
It's an unfortunate truth.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
It's an unfortunate truth for that individual player. Okay, and it might be an unfortunate truth for Brisker.
Yeah.
The minute you start having concussions, you're more apt to have more concussions, and they're more apt to be worse.
Yep. That seems to be the.
So I mean,
the data.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you, but it doesn't matter. Okay, you run a football team. You don't run the football team with your heart. You run it with your mind. Okay, that's it. First thing you're running with is your mind. Next thing is the pocketbook, and then it's your heart.
All right.
He
So
fell in love with Velus Jones. That's a lesson to be learned right there.
yeah.
If he never learns anything, when Ryan Poles writes his book about whatever he did as a general manager in the NFL, the first thing he should know is don't fall in love with a player. That should be his number one. Mortal sin? Mortal sin as a GM. Don't fall in love with a player, because that player made him look like a fool.
Yeah.
He looks like a fool. You'll never get that from him. He'll wear the scarlet letter V on his chest for the rest of his life, and it stands for Velus and the mistakes he made there.
They could have got a draft pick for him, and they
Yeah.
didn't. 312-332 ESPN. Are you thinking meat and potatoes? Do you agree that that's got to be the approach
Meat and potatoes,
with that
Carmen.
10th overall selection?